Welcome to the Sex Ed for You podcast, where research meets reality.
This is the podcast for people who want to date and have great sex that is safe, fun, and enjoyable.
We desire to empower our listeners to make informed decisions that lead to values-based living. Hi, I am Lauren. I am a certified holistic sexuality educator and embodied intimacy coach, and the proud owner of Sex Ed for You.
My name is Holland, and I'm our Chief Culture and Content Creator, also here at Sex Ed for You. And I try to transition that every time, and it just doesn't.
We're so close that time.
I was, and every single time it irks me a little bit.
I wonder what the statistics are on how many practice rounds. What'll this be? Episode 48, 49?
48.
We're so close.
To 50?
To 50. Yeah, how many times somebody needs to do something in order for it to be
effortless.
Flowy.
Yeah. It's always the and. The and comes out, and I'm like, that's wrong.
In your defense, it's not like you have a radio background or something.
No.
It's not like this is.
I don't even have a theater background. I was a jock.
And then we see on social media content, but it's been clipped.
Yeah. And it's so easy to clip it. Well, it's not easy to do the editing, but it's easy to edit out what you don't want there.
And make it look like it's one flow of thought.
Yes.
But this is just real, y'all. We're just doing this right now. Yeah. So anyway, segue us. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about the fact that it was Lauren's birthday this weekend. And this birthday is different than all of the other birthdays because it was the birthday that she wanted. And how many times do we hear people say, it's my birthday, I can cry if I want to? And how often is that directly correlated to the fact that their birthday didn't end up exactly how they wanted it? So let's talk about how your birthday did end up exactly how you wanted it.
Let's do it. Yeah, I often hear, because I see people a lot, and they'll say, yeah, my birthday was last week, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, how was it? And it was fine. Or I hear, oh, I don't like my birthday. Mm-hmm. Or I hear so many things about birthdays, and it's funny because, of course, it draws into our sexual experiences. Fun fact, my kiddo's birthday is the day before mine. And when they woke up, presents all over the dining room table, wanted to wait till my sister and her boyfriend were in town. Then when it was present time, I turned to my kiddo and I said, how would you like to receive your gifts? Would you like to receive them in front of all of us while we watch you? Or would you like to take these gifts to your room to open in private? And my sister was like, what? I want to see her open her gifts. And my kid, who was like, I'd like to take them to my room. Mm-hmm. I was like, awesome. Because my kid has shared on multiple occasions that pressure that so many of us feel when we're opening a gift to react for the gift giver. Mm-hmm. And it is so fascinating, the process of getting a gift exactly how you want it, even through that finishing point. And it was so sweet because then later my kiddo found me and they gave me a big hug and said, thank you so much. Or throughout the days since they have gotten the gifts, it was like a bracelet making kit and this adorable stuffed unicorn pig thing. Snuggling with that at bedtime, making a bracelet and being like, I made a bracelet with the kit you got me, wearing the jewelry that I got her, and all of this stuff that is the thank you. Mm-hmm. She is the furthest thing from an ungrateful person. Oh, sure. She just loves to savor. And so many of us have had to receive a gift in the way that somebody else wanted us to receive it. So
just think about too, as a kid, I remember getting gifts and they were toys, say a bracelet making kit. And when I opened that one, I wanted to open the kit and play and touch what does this bead feel like? Does it have the letters of my name? Does it have enough letters for me to make my friends one too? And so I wanted to dig into it, but there's that pressure too to thank you, next. Thank you, next. And it's you have to react perfectly. And then you're trying to measure your reaction to different gifts according to their value level, and you're that's a lot for a kid to go under, especially when they're thinking about the first gift and the fact that they want to touch the beads.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
We talk all the time in my work about luxuriating in the gift. And I'm like, I know where it started. The inability to luxuriate in the gift. Yeah, it's parties where your friend's like, open mine.
Yes.
And It is amazing to give gifts, y'all, and we will talk about. But when you are doing the action and you want a certain reaction, get curious, maybe pause this podcast and think about, is that for you or is that for them? Because if it's for you, and that's fine, that's fine. If you are doing the action, but it's for you, then that's taking.
Yeah. Which is different.
Fine.
Yes.
It is absolutely a way of receiving, but you need to be very clear that you're receiving, not giving.
Right.
That's fine. That's so fine.
And it can be different too than being excited for their excitement.
I was so excited for my daughter's excitement. 100%. That child loves gifts. It's the primary love language.
But you're luxuriating in that excitement in the days following, seeing her wear the jewelry and such. Like that excitement it's not instantaneous. It's not like you're like taking and needing it in that moment.
So that was really cool to be on the giving end the day before. Then let's talk about my birthday. It was the next day. I remember back in the summer at some point, I was thinking through my partner Trey's birthday, which is this coming Sunday. It's birthday week in our house. And was thinking of all the things I wanted to do for him. And then I had this inner check where I was like, whoa. A, he hasn't asked you to do any of this for him. You can 100% make offers and kind of chat with him. It's his 40th, so it's a big deal. But what if you transfer this focus and this effort into thinking through what you would really want for this 39th birthday. It's not like it's a special birthday. It's a 39th birthday. And I thought, So I pulled up the calendar to see what day of the week my birthday fell on. And it fell on a Saturday, like on a weekend. Not only any Saturday, it fell on this big race in our town, the Virginia 10-miler. And I was born on a Virginia 10-miler day. And I thought, okay, well, regardless of if I had people join me, I would be getting up to watch it because it's tradition. And I usually have coffee or mimosa and I clap for all the hardworking people. And I've done it every year, and I will do it every year because it's a beautiful little morning tradition. Even if it doesn't fall on my birthday, I get up and watch it. And so then I thought, well, wait a second. It'd be so fun if some of my nearest and dearest wanted to join me for the race and then come back for breakfast brunch. And then I thought, and then anybody could go home, but if they wanted to, they could hang out. We could take walks, we could take naps, we could watch a movie. We could almost just make it this slow, luscious Thursday where people go and come as they want to with options. And what if I just center my pleasure at the center of the day, which is what are my highest wants? What values do these align with? And I thought, I want yummy food that we can kind of pick out all day, like delicious, nourishing, colorful food in the morning that then could just stay on the table, kind of like Thanksgiving. And when people like go back for seconds and leftovers. I'd love some movement if it's rainy. I'd love a snuggly moment. I'd love some games. I love me some games. I'd love some deep questions and conversation. And that's it. Like, other than that, I'm really okay with timeframes. I'm really okay with standing in my limits of saying, like, guys, I'd like this to be done. Like, I'm ready for a nap. I'm really okay if everybody departs. I knew my sister would be in town, just going on a solo little dinner with her. I thought, no, the rest of I'm okay with some looseness at the end of the day, but I do know I want the structure at the beginning. So then I texted one friend and asked him, do you think this at all feels like too much to ask as a request? Race, people arrive when they want to, and breakfast brunch.
Right.
And he wrote back, no, that feels like a wonderful thing that you want. And your friends, the people that you would text, would 100% stand in their limits. And they'd get there when they could get there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
because it was like 7 a.m.
It was like 7. The roads closed, and to get to my house, you would need to arrive at my house prior to 7:45 when the roads are closed.
Or you can park farther and walk, which is what I did.
Yeah. And so I shot out a text, made a little invite, and asked for just that. I asked for company, if desired, for the race. If not, the roads would open back up at 9:45, so then arrival at my home anytime after that, for people to bring a breakfast shared like thing to munch on, and then for games and conversation, and that you could leave whenever or you could stay as long as you liked. And It was glorious. I think, yeah, it was just glorious. And I kept reminding myself, you're in the accepting quadrant. Like, what does it feel like to move and groove around the accepting quadrant? What if, so an initial plan was to get up super early that morning and assemble the avocado toast and the yogurt parfaits and the fun peach prosciutto board. And I thought, it's kind of going to be moving out of the accepting quadrant. Is there anything else you could do? And I thought, well, once we get back after the race, there'll be like 6 sets of hands here. And all of these people are wonderful with food and actually enjoy that too. Would you be sad that it was taking too long? Like, is that bad? And I thought, no, actually. And I think they would love to be helpful. Like, there's such a fun thing when like you get to be helpful.
Yes.
So I thought, oh, well, that's juicy. Like, what if I just brew another pot of coffee instead? So I just did that and then got ready. And what's so fun is that ended up being one of my favorite moments is when everybody was putzing around and like working on their own thing. Somebody was on avocados. You were chopping endless peaches. It is just, there's music playing in the background. And one of the things I ask my clients all the time is to think about, if they're going to ask for what they want, how they will feel once they are getting what they want. And so I had certain moments where I stopped and I paid extra attention to what was going on right then. I could cry right now. And I would take these really deep inhales and I would feel into the sensations of you sitting at the kitchen table slicing peaches, Jay with his back to us smushing avocados, S in the dining room like arranging things. She kept calling it futzing. She was like futzing. Jay and Trey, I think, were out in the back porch, like having a conversation. Like there were too many hands. Like we had too many people. I just breathed so deeply and thought, I am the happiest. I am the happiest. This is my gift. I don't need anything else. I have my people. I have delicious food for like all of my senses were engaged. And I thought this is the best birthday ever. Because there was mindfulness applied. And in training for Wheel of Consent, we do this pleasure triangle. And all it was like giving meaning to whatever the situation was or the touch, attention, and sensation. And that equals pleasure, which is just something that brings us joy or happiness. It is not necessarily sexual. And I thought, this is the most magical thing in the world. Yeah, then we went out on the back porch and everybody shared how they had met me and a favorite memory and a wish for me. And then my heart was just overflowing. I was like, I don't even know what to do with this. This day just keeps getting better.
I loved how not how quickly, but like how we organized it.
Yes.
That moment was so like pleasure filled for me.
I was even journaling about that because inside the house, there was a moment when Trey and Jay and I were together. Everybody else was doing something. Don't know. And they were like, how you doing? Checking in because they knew that I wanted this day. And I said, amazing. I think I would really like to have some conversation on the back porch. And they both made an offer. They said, how can we support that? And I said, if you two could begin it, that would feel beautiful because it feels, I know I could, but it does feel selfish to say, will you all go around and share something you love about me? I know I could do that, especially with that group, but it would be so beautiful if one of you could offer it to the space. And they were like, we got you. And so I just remember when Trey, of all people, kind of brought it up. And this is new to him. He didn't grow up in spaces where this type of thing was done.
Did any of us?
No, I don't really think so. I don't really think so. And so he said, what if we go around and share something? And that's when Jay jumped in with more specifics. And then my sister jumped in with some more. And everybody did. I was like, this is the perfect group for this because they all had like a different, no, we'll do it this way. And then somebody was like, no, let's not circle, let's do popcorn. And then somebody was like, our popcorn should be the same every time. Everybody had an idea for how this thing would go. And talk about receiving. I just sat there and got to make extended eye contact and hear each person's words. And I thought that's all we really need, right? Like, I look at the state of the world and I'm like, we don't need shit. We don't need stuff. We don't need sex. We need that. We need human connection and to know how loved we are now. The Broadway community just lost 2 people in the last 48 hours. A local private school just lost 2 people in the last 48 hours. Life is short, and more things don't make it better. Demonstrative virtue signaling doesn't make things better. Love like that heals the world. It was just so incredible. Yeah. Then we took walks and went to a coffee shop, and people started to depart. And yeah, I know we're going to dissect all of this, but it was so beautiful in my body too, knowing that everybody was checking in with their own limits of, okay, I have to go now. I have to go now. I have to go now. And to give big hugs and send people off because I was trusting of them to be within their own capacity. It was so beautiful.
Because then you don't have people being there too long and feeling bitter and feeling like, oh, the stress, Like it was just, God, it was so lovely.
It was so lovely. So we watched a movie. We watched Friday the 13th, which if people don't know, my mother was in that film, and Trey had never seen it, and he got to watch it next to my sister and I, he was like, there was an out-of-body experience.
I believe it. Y'all look exactly like her.
Mm-hmm. And then what did we do after that? People took more naps. People took naps. My sister and Jay and I learned choreography on the back porch. Then we played more games. Got some pizza, played more games, ended the night with another round of questions from We're Not Really Strangers, of which then it was not only centered on me, it was centered on every person, because y'all, if you don't have the game We're Not Really Strangers, go get it.
It's the best.
It's the best. And round 3, we just went straight to round 3 because we all knew each other, but it's all questions about like self. And I was the one to end, and the question was, what is something you know to be true about me that you think that I am unaware of? And I'll never forget, Jay said that your worst is still pretty great. Yeah. And I was like, what? He was like, Lauren, when you show up messy or like, this is all I have left, we are all still so thankful for you being in that space. And it just made me think of the thing from training that I think I've said on here already, is that our presence is the gift. Mm-hmm. And it just feels like the lesson I'm supposed to take into this 39th year of what does it look like to just get to show up as enough? And that's not always going to make everybody happy. But it's going to be honoring of my limits and good. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the best, but just good. And it was just the best. We said goodbye. Some people had been there for 12 hours and went to bed by 10. It was literally like magic. I could have passed away the next day and been fine. Like, there we go. That was great.
It was such a lovely, it wasn't even my birthday, obviously, but like I left feeling fulfilled and raved about it for the rest of the day to anyone who would listen. Like, it was just to not only see the love that was just blanketed around you, but to be able to contribute to that and then feel the love that you sent back to us was like deeply healing. I left feeling like this is a different kind of love. It is like a group like it felt like community in a way that is hard to find. And I remember thinking, like, explaining it to friends and the cookie, and I was like, this is like, I can't even explain it to you. You have to feel it. This is a kind of love that is shared between people that are willing to be vulnerable and be who they really are and just contribute in a way that is just like so real and raw. Because there were so many stories that were, just so deeply connected to each individual person. Mm-hmm. And especially like witnessing you and your sister. And that struck so many chords in me. And this day wasn't about me, but getting to witness this love for you was just world changing. and I sat there thinking and feeling into like what made this so different, I think, yes, 100% it was that this curated group of people that you have put together and surrounded yourself with is special in its own way. It is unlike any other group that I've seen. But it was also the willingness of each person and of you to ask and to give. It was like just so, we were so deeply and naturally within the wheel of consent without having to like, it didn't feel artificial. It felt so real and it felt so human. And it was just, it literally felt like this is what life is meant to be.
Yeah. I loved the part where you said, like, the witnessing of it, what felt like a gift. Yeah. During training, they would always say, if you'd like to opt in by doing, so please stand, whatever, and then we'd get into the exercise. But it was so neat to hear feedback from folks who were just witnessing the exercise, and they would say the same things. They would say, you can't even fathom how healing, how juicy, how calming to the nervous system it is to watch people be in embodied choice. To watch people get to opt in or opt out, to watch people rest in, oh, this is what's being asked of me. All I have to do is this. Like bite-sized pieces of service and receiving. You know, sure, there's like a big umbrella of within this home, you're going to be in consent at all times. And yet somebody's always doing and being done to. Someone's always giving and receiving. And sure, it was my birthday, but there were moments throughout the whole day where everybody was trading off in service and in acceptance. And I think that is one of the things that we don't consider as a person who is overcoming fears of being selfish is remember the world is watching. When we can stand in our own integrity, that we do have needs, wants, and desires. And this is where it comes to, oh, I hate my birthday, or I'm crying because I want to. That is because you have wants and desires. And it is not wrong to want. It is good to want. And so when we can stand in integrity of, oh, I have wants, then no one on that birthday invite had to come. In fact, I had 2 people who couldn't come. They chose to go spend a couple's weekend and sent the most beautiful, hey, we love you. We need this for ourselves. A negotiation in the third domain of it would bring us nothing other than joy to be there for you. And we need this. Grand. It makes me trust them more, yes. Right? That when they are in spaces with me, they are there because they really want to be there. This idea that Lauren really has needs, wants, and desires, and that those people in the room were consenting to come and give them, to be in service, is absolutely mind-blowing. Because then it gives other people permission to want as well. Yeah. It was so precious. Trey, after the party, had been just really on the fence about doing anything for his 40th. And as soon as everybody left, he went, I really want to do something. And I thought, yeah, right? Because you should get to. It's going to look completely different. It's going to have a different feel for you. But we deserve to have these moments, even if they are small. And my sister and I had fascinating conversations about sometimes the thing that we really want is time alone taking in, she lives in Manhattan, a Broadway show. And we will try to desire smuggle. We'll say to someone like, do you want to go to a show with me? And what we really want is to go see a show. Like we should just go. Sometimes we are meant to just do things for ourselves and to be okay with a secure attachment to self. But sometimes it is time to receive. And it was just glorious to think all of these people chose to be here. They're an embodied choice and they can choose to leave at any point. And, we all just get to flow in that.
It can be so scary to ask for what you want. And I loved that you mentioned the permission piece, because I think that was what I felt kind of activated within me when I was witnessing the stories specifically between like you and your sister and you and Jay. There were moments where I was just like, I often have so much fear of putting my whole self out there because I know that it then kind of like invites judgment. And so seeing the rawness and the realness and the vulnerability of the stories shared gave me permission to then fully bare my soul of like what I truly wanted to say. Because so often in situations like that, when you're sharing those stories, I have always kind of wanted to be like, well, I'll just pull her aside after and tell her what I really feel. Because it's so scary to bear that vulnerability in front of a group, at least for me. And so that permission was granted to me before. And that was such a lovely feeling. But having that want to share, was so lovely. And it reminded me too of like, you've had friends ask since your birthday of, well, how did you get that to happen? Mm-hmm. And it reminded me of when we were coming back from New York in January on the train, and it was almost my birthday because my birthday is in February. And
this is good. Good segue.
Oh dear.
So have we not talked about this?
No, we haven't. I just realized as we were sitting down, I was like, we haven't talked about my birthday.
This is so perfect because, go. I'm not going to give anything away.
So on the train back from New York in January, I was gearing up for my birthday. It was about 2-3 weeks away. My birthday is in early February. And you asked me, you said, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want to do? And I was like, I've never considered that. So I was just so excited. On Thursday, my actual birthday, I had planned, okay, I want to go to dinner with my girlfriends, like this specific group of friends, because I really like to, I don't know what it is about me, but something about me loves to separate people. I want to spend very intentional time with small groups. I get really overwhelmed in large groups. I'm a projector. It's probably something to do with that. So on like my actual birthday, I went and had dinner with my girlies. Like we all dressed in little cocktail dresses and had drinks, and just, it was the four of us, and we had the most lovely time. And so I planned that on the train. So then Friday we were like, we can go dance, and we can go to Charlottesville and go out and have fun with our two friends, Jay and Jay. We're still living in Charlottesville at the time. And so we went, and you and me and Trey, and we all stayed with them, and they put together the most lovely, like they decorated their apartment and had balloons, bought me a cake. Like it was stunning. It was the most beautiful birthday celebration I have ever seen. And I was like so not expecting it. It was the most lovely thing ever.
And then we danced our asses off
for
like
till 2 a.m.
Till 2 a.m. I mean, it was just delightful. In like the best, most inclusive environment in the world.
Yes.
I mean, it was gorgeous.
Stunning, safe,
so
queer,
much fun.
Lovely. It was just, there were beautiful photos taken. We have disposable cameras that I still haven't developed. We have.
You gotta do that.
I know I need to take them to Walgreens.
I'll save it for you.
It's been, see those. 9 months. But yeah, that night was lovely. We spent the night there, and then we slept in and went to Lululemon, and
that's right.
It was incredible. And then Saturday, so I planned this on the train as well, or asked for it. I asked for all these things.
Yeah.
And then the Saturday, I was dating someone at the time, and I was like, I would really love to have just like a day with this person. And so on the train, you helped me craft a text, because I was like, I don't know how to ask for this. Like, this is such I don't know. I felt so selfish. I didn't know how to ask. And so we crafted a text where I said, I would really love for my birthday for you to take me to dinner. What was the other qualification? There was something else.
I think you didn't say romantic, but like just us.
Yeah. Intentional.
I would love, like just an intentional evening, of dinner, and then maybe to go back and
then I said, I want sex.
And
like I want good sex.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want a present. I literally want like an intentional evening with you, and then I want sex. And those were I was very specific.
in the flavor of, so like we don't need to stay out late. We don't need to go do a ton of stuff. We could literally prioritize a simple special dinner and then early evening in with great sex. Like
Yeah.
in the way you ended up phrasing it was so beautiful. 'Cause it was like, this is all.
Yes.
These are the two things I would really love.
Yeah, so I have a smaller social battery, and so I knew that I would have those 2 prior days of a lot of going out and celebrating, and I had so much fun. It was great. I remember thinking Saturday morning, this is the best birthday I have ever had. It was incredible. And he texted me that Saturday, and it was seeming to go really well. He's, sending me like, hey, does a basketball game sound fun? I'm a huge basketball nerd. So that I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's go to a basketball game. And then
Well, he even said things like, I know you're getting back in. Do you need a rest? Do you need
Yes.
like a nap and some time? What time is sounding best? No, it was all sounding like
it was all
literally
sounding
great.
lovely. Yeah. And so then.
Oh, and when you had texted on the train, you had added in if this is something you are interested and willing to provide. Like it was
Yes.
kind of like, this is what I would like. How does that feel in your body? Is it something you would like to give?
Yes.
And you had gotten such a beautiful affirmative response that was like, oh my gosh, yes, this sounds exactly like something
Yes.
I would like to give. It was like clear, awesome communication. We were both like, oh wow.
Yeah, he was a great communicator, and he was very much like, I would love to do that for you. So that's kind of the setup.
Like nothing was leading to this.
So then,
I'm still like,
I'm still reeling from it too.
this is probably why we didn't talk about it.
Probably. So we go.
Reality, y'all.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. Some people are just, this is how you find out the people that aren't meant for you, and that's okay.
It's okay.
So yeah, it's the whole day is leading up. He's like, do you need a nap? Do you need time? Like, would you like to get ready? And I was like, no, I feel good. Like Saturday morning was very restful. We drove back. I think I took a shower and washed my hair, blew dry my hair, got ready, was wearing like something very comfortable, but very like sexy. It was just like leggings and I think like a cropped black shirt with a denim jacket. I felt very like cool and chic. It was still coldish outside. And so I felt so lovely and I felt pretty and I was like, oh, this is going to be such a fun night. We can go watch basketball, have a good dinner. I get to his apartment. The apartment's fine. Like nothing really bad happens there, but I was kind of like sensing that something's like, he was just kind of like, hey. And I was like, okay, hi. Okay. And so then we get in his truck and he's like, well, what are you thinking for dinner? And I was like, okay. Because if you know me, I don't like to plan. Well, that's not true. I like to plan. I don't like to choose dinner. That is specifically something I don't like to do. Especially since I had asked for him to choose what we were doing that evening.
That had already
I
been
wanted like
pre-negotiated.
a little bit of a surprise. That was kind of part of what I had said is like, I want you to plan this for me. If you would like to. And he said yes. And so he was like, well, what do you want for dinner? And I was like, oh, okay. And so then I kind of like threw up one place and we were like, okay, I guess we'll go there. And so we drive there. He hadn't made a reservation, nothing. He was like, well, I was kind of thinking this place, we go there. It was an hour and a half long wait when we get there. So that place doesn't work out. And he's like, well, the basketball game starts at this time. And I was like, oh my, that's in 30 minutes. What do you mean it starts at this time? We have to eat dinner. And so we're trying to think of where can we go that's fast. So we end up going to that Mexican food place in the mall, which is fine. I like that place.
I do too.
It's good.
But do you all notice it was a Mexican food place in the mall? Like, it's as good as a Mexican food place in the mall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's delicious.
It is delicious.
When you're going to, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we go, we sit at the bar. We have a lovely dinner. He gets me the little Tres Leches cake. And I was like, if you make people sing to me, I will literally kill you. So he just sings to me, which was adorable. Mm-hmm. And I took a cute little picture of him. We had a fun time. He sang to me and I enjoyed it. It was silly and goofy. It was very much the way our relationship was. Well, not really relationship, but the way our whatever was. And then, we go to the basketball game.
I'm like sweating.
I am too. So we drive over to the basketball game, which is at the university that he works. Mm-hmm. So I had gone to many basketball games with him at this place. We never really get tickets because he has a staff ticket and typically will just get me in. Well, this was a very big game. So he's expecting to just get us in and didn't get us tickets. We get there. There are no tickets. There are no seats because it was a big, important game. So we're trying to get in. It's already halftime, by the way. We're trying to get into the game. He's like calling people and also like FaceTiming people and has his phone like this and is like cutting me out of the frame, like kind of pretending that I'm not there. And I was like, what is going on? And it's a girl that he's calling, which I know her. She knows who I am. So I was like, why are you hiding that I'm here? It was such a weird interaction. Like, it was just like, I know it was probably unintentional, but I was like, why are you not being like this is us. Like, we
like, hey,
are trying to get in. He's saying like, I am trying to get in. I need a ticket. And I'm like, there's two of us here. Like, what are you doing? Okay. We finally get into the game. Something happens. Somebody pulls strings. We get into the game. We go down. It's a line of all of his work friends that we're sitting with. Fine. Okay. Sure. We sit with them. He's sitting next to me. He's like turning his body to talk to his friends. And I'm on the end. And he's just talking to his friends like this. And I'm like, this is horrible. I don't know what to do right now. And there's a tall man in front of me. I can't see the game. It's the end of the game. I don't know what happened before. I'm like, this is just not good. Oh, don't worry, we're only halfway through. No, and no one's coming. It's just like, so I can't. I'm like reeling. Yep. Then he looks at me. Uncomfortable. He looks at me a little bit through the game after ignoring me. He goes, so what can I do to like really put the cherry on top of your birthday? And I'm just sitting there like my eye twitching. And I was like, I want really good sex. That's what I want. At this point, it's also like 9 something. And I was like, yeah, I'd like kind of whisper it to him, like being kind of coy, like, I want really good sex. And so he's like, all right, get the check, let's go, like jokingly. And then we just stay for I knew that was not actually what he meant. It was kind of a joke, like, ha ha ha. And so
if I had said that to Trey would have been like, let's go.
Let's leave right now.
Like, it's just so funny, like to put that on the table and then have that it is not the first time it's been on the table. This was like a very pre-negotiated a month before. Mm-hmm. Which, listen, spaces to play, not scheduling sex. No. It's not like Holland was requiring a certain type of no. But also, let's leave space to do that. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
And it's getting late.
It's now 9 something.
The game was great. It was a really good game. I was glad I was there. We were like talking back and forth, and he was like, let's kind of get up so that we can beat the crowd that's going to leave, because it's, again, a full stadium. And so we both go to the bathroom. We're standing up at the top. It's kind of like a dome type stadium. And so we're standing at the top near the doors for the final few minutes, because it goes in overtime. We're standing there. And I'm kind of standing right there next to him, and I like lean into him a little bit, like just kind of like lean on him. I'm a very physical touch person, and so I lean on him. He steps away. My whole body, just like a chill goes through me. And I was like, oh, this was a mistake. This was a mistake. And I'm just thinking, I'm standing there too, comparing it to like the last 2 days where I felt so celebrated, so loved. And like, not that No, I did want that. I was expecting that. I was expecting to feel at least a little bit appreciated. Like, I'm so excited about this. And I just lean into him, and he steps away. Not even like a subtle one, like a big giant ass step away. And I was like, oh my God. So this is where it starts really going downhill, if you didn't think that was downhill enough. So then we're leaving the game. At that point, my body is like, you are unsafe at this point. Not literally unsafe, but like, I just don't feel welcome at this point. I'm feeling icky. So we're turning around to leave, because there's this huge 3-point at the end of the overtime that is like the winning shot. It was huge. And he's like celebrating. I'm celebrating. Everybody's happy. He's like, his celebration was like, he jumped into the air, was kind of like yelling and laughing, not in like a weird way, in a good way. And then he's like running out the doors, leaving me, running away through the doors. And I just turn around. He's just running. And I was like, what the fuck? So then in my silly little body that didn't know what to do, I run after him and dead leg him while he's running. Which again, our relationship was very silly, goofy, but like also he's like an athletic trainer and shouldn't be getting harmed or hurt. And so that was stupid of me. Yes, I will admit, but I was in fight or flight mode. Okay. So I dead leg this man and he turns on and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. So then we walk back. At this point, I'm so cold. So I'm like pulling at my shirt because the walk back is probably a good, I don't know, quarter of a mile. Mm-hmm. I'm like pulling my denim jacket around me. He's got a hoodie on and hasn't a second thought in his head to at least, I don't know, put his arm around me. Nothing. So I'm just like shivering on the walk back. He's 2 paces next to me because of course he doesn't want to touch me while we're on his, I guess, place of work. I don't know. That's the only thing that I can reason is that we were in his place of work. And he's like, and I had also noticed that while we're at the basketball game, he's kind of talking to like multiple friends, kind of like pulling on different people, which like, okay, good for him, but didn't introduce me to any of them. We're walking back to his car and he's like, hey, I would really like to go to this place, this bar, and we can play pool. Because we had been talking about playing pool for a long time. He really enjoys pool. I enjoy playing it, even though I'm bad at it. I think it's fun. But he was like, I really want to play pool. So we're going to go to this bar. And I was like, cool. On the way there, we're like singing, having a great time. We have a very similar taste in music. And so we were just like jamming out, singing our hearts out. We get to the place. All of his coworkers are there. Who, mind you, are women in their 20s and don't know who I am. Don't know it's my birthday. It doesn't matter. Nobody told them. They're just thinking this is like a fun coworkers night out at a bar, which also none of them drink, which is hilarious. There was one literal alcoholic drink because this is a Christian university and they're all just like taking tiny little sips out of it. It's hilarious. It's karaoke night. So everyone is dancing, quote unquote, to the karaoke, like trying to get down to karaoke. And I'm standing there like, I've still not been introduced to any of these people. I bought my own drink and I'm just like staring at these 20-something-year-old women and they just like, they're not talking to me. They don't care. They've not been introduced to me. They don't know it's my birthday. They don't know that I'm here with him. They don't know any of these things. And it felt like the mean girl clique of groups. And I just kept getting side eyes because I'm dressed. I've taken my jacket off at that point and I just have like a tank top, like crop top on. And I feel like I'm getting looks as if like I'm this slut that's wearing, how dare you wear this? Like, I was wearing full length pants and a crop top. What do you mean? Like I felt the judgment and it was just horrendous. And so then I just walk away because I'm like, I can't be on this karaoke half-ass dance floor anymore. So I walk away and find somewhere to like kind of just chill and calm down because I'm at this point basically irate.
And what time is it now?
10:30. It was 10:30. So then I walk over and I'm trying to just calm myself down. The man finds me. He's like, would you like to go play pool? And I was like, would I like to be alone with you? Yes, shockingly. I know. That's what I asked for. And we have yet to be alone except for the dinner. And even that doesn't count as being alone. And so we get a pool table. And we have 5 minutes of playing pool together before all of the girly pops follow us and sit at the table because they think it's a freaking
it's a work thing.
This
like,
is not
I don't
them.
blame them.
No, I don't either. I mean, like, sure, they were giving me mean girl looks, but that's probably because they had never been introduced to me and there's an outsider here at their work party and there's literally no one else has brought a +1. Why would I be there? You know? Like, it's literally like there's nothing against them. This is not their fault at all. But they come to the table and I'm like, oh my God. And so we're playing pool. Second round of pool comes around and it's me and the guy against 2 other people. And I make a good shot. And he goes, good job, bud. Bud? I was so pissed. You're going to friend zone me in front of these women that have been giving me the side eye all night that you have yet to introduce me to. None of them know my name. This is my birthday. We're doing this. And so, yeah, we go back. The night wraps up. Finally, we go back to the apartment, and no sex was had. That's for sure. I got my stuff and I left. And like, I tried to stay the night a little bit, and he was like, "Come, no, like stay the night." And I was like, "No." So at like 1 a.m., I gather my things, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. And I go home. Drove home at 1:30-ish after trying to sleep there for like 30 minutes and just being so irate that he would kind of tried to touch me at one point in the night, like try to cuddle me. And I was like, no, Yep. Which is why all of this to say, I actually am, funny enough, still friends with this man. He recognizes that he made a mistake. I didn't talk to him for a good couple weeks after that. There's a lot there. But what I wanted to tell this story for was to say there is a lot of vulnerability in asking for what you want.
There is.
I was on Lauren's couch crying my eyes out the next day. Just absolutely devastated because I had asked for what I wanted, and I knew had expectations because I had asked, and I felt so scared when I had sent that text, and I had felt so much reassurance when he had responded and said, "Yes, I will give you what you want," and he didn't. He did not deliver on that at all, and he harmed me. And there is opportunity for harm when you ask for what you want. And it honestly feels like there's even more. Because it wasn't unspoken expectations. It was, this is what I want. And it hurt like hell. But you know what else it taught me? Was that this is not the man for me. And he can't give me what I want. And that's okay. That is okay. And I am so thankful that I'm not with him. And we can be friends, and we can be like totally fine and just have dinner once every 3 months, and that's okay. But it was just, God, that was hard.
Yes. The scariest part about standing in our integrity and asking for what we want is that when the other is not willing to or not able to provide this thing, we have to get clear on whether or not we are interested and willing to be in relationship with them in the same level anymore. It actually, it's okay. Some people are not able to give us what we want. That's okay. That's okay. In our training, we would do this exercise where we stood far apart. We would signal for a person to come towards us with our hand, like scooping towards, or we would make kind of a stop with our hand, or we would push them further away. And what you realized in that moment was that there is a certain distance through which you can love him best. You guys have always gotten along just kind of splendidly. And when you tried to say, "I'd like more," you got to notice in your nervous system what it felt like to bring someone closer to you who is not interested in serving you in the way that you deserve to be served. It is not that everyone has to serve you that way. It is not within everybody's limits and capacities to do so. That's fine. He obviously was not aware of his own limits and capacities, and I'm sure was feeling into the needs and wants and desires of his coworkers and to show up, and it's almost a professional thing. It's weird. It's weird. That's for him to figure out how to handle those types of social situations. They're awkward. They're tricky. You still deserve, right? I think the lesson here is not, and this is what so many of us when we were little, when we would ask for a certain present, wouldn't get the present, or would be forced to say we were thankful for something that we didn't want. The lesson here should not be Holland's wants are too much. Holland is selfish. Holland, has unrealistic expectations. No. And I think we talked about this that day on my couch when you were sobbing your eyes out. You consensually communicated and invited your friends on the night of your birthday to go to dinner and drinks. You had the juiciest conversation. I still remember you coming back being like, this was so life-giving. And you initiated like really good conversation around the table. It was yummy. Yay. Then the second night you asked to go dancing, asked to come to Charlottesville. It was amazing. Great. All these people were fully within their boundaries and limits to give to you. We were delighted. It was like 2 out of 3. You did great. What should be learned is, oh, okay, that's not within this human being's capacity.
Right.
That's okay. I know what's best for me. I think it's actually a more loving place to be like, oh, okay, there.
Yeah. Stay here.
And it's weird for us to be all so consensual and embodied, I guess, but we all know. I hope the audience cringed with you because that step away movement. I remember some guy took me to a movie after we had had sex at my apartment. We had just had sex at my apartment, and then we went to a movie that he wanted to see, some Marvel movie. I'm not a Marvel person. And I don't remember anything about the movie. I remember that we were sharing like popcorn or something, and then I went to like hold his hand, not like a romantic, but like a, oh, we just slept together. This is lovely. You're a friend of mine.
Touch.
I pulled his hand away.
Ugh.
And I thought, meanwhile, also, I had not had an orgasm in the sexual encounter he had. And I was like, ew. Like, I was left so wanting.
Yeah.
School of Consent would say, it's good to want. We just need to find people who align and are able to stand in their own integrity. Because sadly, what we should learn is, oh, I can't actually trust you with this vulnerability. What we got to see on my birthday was all these adult human beings being so trustworthy, of coming when they wanted, leaving when they wanted, saying what they wanted, asking, checking in with their own bodies of, yeah, what do I want to say? What don't I want to say? Yeah, it's wild. But I am so sorry. And I totally forgot about that whole story.
I did too, till we sat in the chairs, honestly, which is hilarious.
It was so bad.
I have since gone back to the bar and redeemed it. So with other people. It's just such a beautiful, I think, picture of, asking for what you want though. And it's, I won't make the same. No, I didn't make a mistake.
You did not make a mistake.
Never mind.
I guess the only quote unquote thing you could have done is, at any of those points said, like, done a check-in with body.
Right.
And revoked consent and left.
I should have gone home after the basketball game.
Yeah, like left, been like, you know what?
Just drop me off.
Yeah, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
And cried and been sad. Yeah. But the additional layers of rejection that you then had to go through make me sad. But we've all done it. I mean, I've done it multiple times. I did it. Oh my God. The same person who I just mentioned, who
oh my gosh, yes,
had sex with me and then took me to the movie and wouldn't hold my hand, has been a friend for 20-something years. And this past week, there was a Broadway performing artist in town, and we were going to go to dinner before this concert.
Lauren, you have not told me this yet.
Oh, this is so bad. And we were going in it with a group of like Broadway people, like actors, and the invitation for dinner, it's because I blocked this out because this is the invitation went to like all 5 of us who were going to this concert. Only 3 of us could go to dinner prior to, and I should have, this is an example of this. When I saw the RSVPs come in of who was available to come to dinner, I should have said, you know what, no worries. Like, this just isn't, like, let's all just take our time and get to the concert. But it was Jay and myself and this said person. And this said person, I love with my whole heart. It's very much like this. I love them from here.
Right, from a distance.
And every fucking time, I think it's going to be better. I think surely this person's going to have grown up a little bit. Surely I can use one of my very wise, wonderful communication skills and do something to make this better. No, we get there. And this person just, that in our world, we have a make space, take space type of thing. And if you're a person who has a tendency to take up space, it is wonderful and consensual of us to make space for other people. If you're a person who has a tendency to shrink back, we encourage you in sexuality spaces to take up a little more space and see how that feels in your body. This person doesn't know how to do that. Even when it's someone's fucking birthday. So we get there, we sit down, he immediately starts talking. There's like a brief pause in the conversation. And I say, hey, what if like we go around and share like highlights of our day? Like just something really beautiful that happened today. And I'm thinking, this will be great. This will allow, he never asks questions about me, but I'm like, Lauren, we're not going to play the victim here. We'll interject. So Jay shares some highlights. He was like, it was a really rough day, but I'm sure I can find something. And he did find something. And we all cheered and celebrated. And he was like, you know what? That was actually really great. I'm glad we did this because I was sitting here thinking it was a bad day, but I had forgotten about this moment in the middle. I'm really glad we're doing this. Okay. So next we turn to him. He shares a thing forever and we all celebrate and we cheers. And then it's my turn. And he goes, before you go, I just want to run to the bathroom really fast. I'm like, okay. He runs to the bathroom. Jay and I chat about something. He comes back. He immediately just launches into a story. I did not say more than 5 words the rest of the dinner. And I thought in my body, we will never do this again. Mm-hmm. This is okay. This is where this person's capacity is. And I do not want to be in this. My whole nervous system, I feel leached from. I feel siphoned. I feel like I have to sit there and endure and tolerate. And that is not, no, I didn't consent. I didn't consent. So we all went to the concert and then I had a very private post-dinner sip and drink with J&J because I was like, needed to regain an understanding of what it's like to sit in a little space with people and share conversation. Of which we did. Everybody talked. It was lovely. It was you talk, I talk, we talk. It's lovely. We ask questions. We push in. Everybody shared their highlights from the concert. It was not... Anyway, moral of the story is research meets reality. I apparently still am not learning my lesson there. I can't... Yeah.
Walking the line between allowance of redemption and like encouraging your own and standing by your own boundaries is so hard.
It is.
Because it's the body wants, I do this with a certain family member too, where I'm like, I want to give you the opportunity to redeem yourself and to be kind and to allow conversation. But the continual disappointment and harm that is done when that allowance is given is just painful. And it almost feels more painful because you're like, God dang it. Like, I wanted to give you this opportunity. Because it's almost like this piece too of you when you love them so deeply to want them to grow. Because I think especially you and I can see the potential in people and the potential of such good, but oh my gosh, it can be painful to see that over and over again.
Okay, I have to read this because this is so so appropriate to this, and then we can kind of close on this note. Birthday podcast, happy times. We took a dark turn. Okay, I sent this to my sister the other day because during our times around, you heard some of this exact same stuff, right? Where we are close, but not close with some of the members of our family, just like what you were saying. But I'm thinking how appropriate this is to what happened to me with that human, also that dinner. Sometimes we actually perpetuate our childhood wounds when we push healing onto other people. Sometimes we can begin to feel like the only way to heal from the pain of having to parent our parents or our friends as a child is if they finally wake up and do the deep work we've now been embarking on. And while this would be beautiful and maybe sometimes happens, the continuous pursuit of their healing is only perpetuating the role that our child self had to play, to be the caretaker and the manager of the caregiver. So instead of trying to convince our parents to do the work or our friends to do the work, to change, to grow, to repair the past, give your younger self the freedom of not having to manage what they choose to do. Give your younger self the chance to just be. Their emotional well-being or willingness to change is not and never was your responsibility. It's time to get the freedom you deserve.
Wow. Yeah, that is very difficult for us who are healers and fixers.
And we had to study it in sex school, and anybody who goes to therapist school, hopefully they've studied this too, that is why so many get into helping professions, is that from childhood they were being conditioned to be helpers.
And teaching professions as well. We've run into that.
And this was just really good for me to be like, not your job. Maybe your job in a transactional encounter with a client who is paying for the service and has a desire to improve. Cool beans. I love it. Come my way. With friends, family members, nope. We get to stop. Mm-hmm. And it's honestly a gift of agency.
Yeah.
Of, oh, you don't want to do that work yet. That's fine.
It's fine.
I'm going to be over here.
Yeah.
Like, you stay. That distance is good for me. Thanks. And those who come closer need to have a vocabulary, which was some of the beautiful stuff my sister was saying, right? That it is really cool for somebody to have done their work as well.
Yes.
And not our job, nor is it trauma informed to tell people when they should heal.
Yeah.
But whoa, is our job to stand in our integrity and say that it's not good for my nervous system.
And determine the distance at which you are capable of loving them. Yeah. I think it's different for every person and for every relationship. There are some people that I can keep decently close and like be friends with, but it's hard sometimes. It's really hard. And there are some people that I have, if you know me, I not collect, that sounds bad, but I keep people in my life almost permanently. Like once I love someone, I love them forever.
That's her 4 line. Anyway, continue.
I keep them. I just can't let people go. It's hard for me. I mean, people will forever say like, oh, you dated that person? Why are you still friends with them? Like, that's weird. And I'm like, no, it's not. I love them. And like, I love them from X distance. Like, I just have this. And there are some, but for me, like it is damn near impossible for me to literally just not have somebody in my life anymore. And I've had to do it twice recently. And it's almost painful for me to be like, oh, I can't even see them. And it's hard because there is apparently that 4 line just loves people forever.
You're meant to build community. That's what her 4 line is building intentional community. I think what I just got all smiley about is that you're also simultaneously developing a secure attachment with yourself.
That's true.
Wherein you are starting to become this little like microcosm community in you. So then we get to be choosier with who we build community with. But I think it's always been a part of your nature, always will be a part of your nature to build community. Yeah. I just think that as we heal and grow, we're like, oh, yeah, like, may you have community, not here. And that is okay, because that is you saying in your own nervous system, like, I don't have to accept scraps. Like, it's okay. It's a boundary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, it just made me smile because the nested model of attachment has like ourselves as like the and then relationships and then greater community. And then, yes, you need to always do that. It is a part of you. And I think as we come to an understanding of ourselves and like love ourselves more, it's like, oh, what does love look like? Love. Yeah, this is what my sister and I were saying. Like, I am able to love a few people in my life better at an arm's distance, like really love them. And it feels great.
Right.
And it was so beautiful to play this game at training because when we would there were some times where like we would pull somebody closer and it was like, no, my nervous system says, there. And what if we just trusted that? God bless church culture. It was all about this like deep offering of all of you and accountability and, what's like that word where like basically you're exposing all of yourself. And if you're hiding anything, it's secret and all this type of stuff. And no, that's not how it needs to be with everybody. We get to choose.
Yeah. Gosh, I would love to kind of circle out on celebrating that your birthday was lovely.
Let's
bring it back.
It was really fabulous and took a lot of work though. Like it is interesting that was my 39th year on this planet. And I have had other good birthdays. I really have. And it's interesting. The themes that I would say are always that it's exactly what I wanted. And the times where I went outside of that, it wasn't. That's why, I mean, I literally did such a long journaling practice the day after because I was like, you need to write this down. This is good. But I think it was standing in integrity and trust in only putting those in my space of whose integrity I could trust as well. And being what some might say incredibly picky and choosy. And I let myself give a fuck about that and say, let's try it out. Let's do this thing that you spend all day, every day teaching people to do and see what happens. And you're not the only one who has said afterwards, oh my God, what a gift it was just to witness that. May we all do that. Yeah. Thanks for coming to this episode, y'all. As always, these are opinions and lived experiences and all that jazz. We truly want you to make your own informed decisions. You have a right to self-determination and informed decision-making. If you're like, whoa, want to do that, you can go to sexedforyou.com/free consult and request a free consult with me. And maybe this is the type of thing that you're interested in working on. Maybe you're not in sexual partnership, but you're like, I really want to learn how to understand what I need, want, and desire and how to ask for it. I work with many folks on that. This is, yes, a sexuality education and coaching business, but it is so much more. Everybody's like, this is going to change my life. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to change your life. So please know you do not need to be in sexual partnership to work with Sex Ed for You. Where can they find us on socials?
They can find us at sex_ed_for_you on Instagram. We are, I believe, just Sex Ed for You on Facebook and then YouTube as well. You can email me at admin@sexedforyou if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
Have a wonderful rest of your day. Yeah. If you have a birthday coming up, happy almost birthday. If you have a birthday anytime in this coming year, happy birthday. It's, maybe this title of the podcast can be something about birthdays, so that anyone can listen to this anytime and plan a great birthday. We didn't really do any step-by-steps, but you do your own gathering of that. Have a great day, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.